Okay, welcome to your final lesson of S1. We did a little bit of this in class, so I'm just going to combine 3 lessons into one short one for you. There's no need to take notes as we go along. You can go back and pause the video, and I've made some summary slides after each key topic, okay? I'll also embed some questions in this so that you can just practice them. So what we're going to look at is the diseases that are caused by different microbes, such as bacteria and viruses. So first of all, an infection means that the microbe, which is a single cell, has got into your body. Disease is the impact that it has on your body. So there's 3 disease-causing microbes. Apologies for the typo at the top there. You have viruses, like the COVID-19 at the moment. You have fungal infections caused by fungi cells, and you'll have bacterial infections caused by bacteria. Note each of these are single celled, so very small, and that's why they can get into our bodies. Okay, so you need to know some examples of bacterial infections. Don't bother copying this now, I'll give you a summary at the end, okay? There's 4 there, I would try and just remember 1 or 2. So I like to remember tetanus, which is if you get like a rusty nail or something cuts you and breaks the skin, you can get bacteria from that's causing tetanus. When the bacteria gets into the body, it starts destroying your healthy cells by producing these chemicals called toxins. So it's the toxins from the bacteria that makes you feel unwell and starts to destroy your cells. The only way to treat a bacteria is an antibacterial drug. And we call that antibacterial drug an antibiotic, okay? So antibiotics are only used to kill bacteria. An antibiotic will not kill a virus and it will not kill a fungal infection, okay? So looking at our viruses, loads there. Again, most common ones you'll know would be the flu and HIV, maybe chickenpox or mumps, measles. Obviously I've added COVID-19 at the bottom now with what's currently going on, as it's in the news every single day, and it's also a virus. Again, viruses invade your healthy cells, okay? The reason a virus gets into your cell is it wants to reproduce and make more copies of itself. And a virus can only do this inside living cells. So that's why they invade cells. The only way to cure a viral infection is actually your own immune system. So your body will fight off a virus infection. However, you can give your immune system a boost or activate it by using a vaccination. However, not all viruses don't always have a vaccination for them. So at the moment, that's why scientists are working hard to try and develop a vaccination for COVID-19 in order to boost people's immune systems so that they'd be immune to this virus, okay? Like many people have had immunization vaccinations when they're young, and it stops them ever getting the disease, okay? Antibiotics will not cure viral infections. So fungal infections, things like athlete's foot, thrush, fingernail infections, okay? Fungal infections like moist between your toes, between your fingers to get in there. They're not deadly, but they can be uncomfortable. Again, this is a fungal, so it's an antifungal medication, usually an antifungal cream that's used. So there's some pictures. We've got measles and chickenpox. We have impetigo, which is a bacterial infection. It gets there from direct contact, so it's by touching that with your hands. Some bacteria can be quite serious. There's some flesh-eating bacteria, such as fasciitis, which will actually eat the skin away from your body. How do you treat this? Would you use a vaccine? No. Would you use an antifungal? No. Use an antibiotic because it's a bacteria. Athlete's foot or thrush, these are both caused by fungi. So you would treat that by using an antifungal cream, okay? So there's a summary you should copy down. 3 different cells, viruses, bacteria and fungi. Try and memorise at least 2 or at least 1 for each. So I've gone with HIV and flu, tetanus and whooping cough, athlete's foot and thrush. Remember viruses, it's your own immune system. Bacterial is antibiotic drugs, and fungi is antifungal creams or antifungal drugs. So you can pause that and copy it down at your leisure. Okay, transmission just basically means how it's spread from person to person. Okay, and there's probably 4 common ways because we can divide 2 into 2. So transmission by animals, okay? If you're bitten by an infected animal, it's going to move from the animal into you through your blood, okay? You can get transmission by direct contact, so that can be touch, like shaking hands, or it can be through sexual contact as well. You'll know that because nowadays we're talking about COVID, we're talking about washing our hands all the time, and HIV is very famous. That it was one of the main reasons to promote the use of things like condoms was to prevent sexual contact to stop the spread of the HIV virus. You can also get indirect contact, so again, it's why we're cleaning surfaces all the time and washing your hands when you come back in, is that if you touch a surface and pick up the microbe, it might then move inside of you if you touch your mouth, things like that. Okay, so direct and indirect are both contact, or you can get transmission by animals. Transmission by the air, so of course, why we're talking about not coughing without covering your mouth, be using your elbow to cover your mouth, catch it in a hanky and bin it, because if you cough, you can actually spread these droplets which you can't see. Now, we're trying to stay 2 metres away from folk, but sometimes coughs go as far as 6 or 7 metres, depending on how hard you cough, okay? So that's why we're talking about wearing masks at the moment, to try and prevent coughing, sneezing, breathing in these microbes through the air. Finally, you could get the microbes through your food or water. For example, food poisoning is quite often caused by undercooked food, still having bacteria on the surface, and then it gets into your system. Now, your body's digestive system, acids in the stomach, are there to help destroy some of that bacteria, but sometimes it can escape that and get into your cells and start causing disease. Similar, drinking dirty water or contaminated water is another way these microbes can get into your body. So, touching your eyes, the fluid in your eyes getting microbes in through there. Any openings, for example, your ears, your mouth, your nose, are ways that microbes can invade the body. Your skin's actually one of your first parts of your immune system. The skin prevents a barrier to stop things getting into your body. However, cuts, there's a break in the skin, that will allow microbes to enter the body. Okay, if things do get past the skin, so skin's your number one defence. Inside the body we have white blood cells, which are our second part of our defence. Now we talk about defence, we're talking about the immune system. So this is made up of white blood cells, and there's two main types for you to learn. The first one is pronounced phagocytes. Phagocytes are a bit like Pac-Man. They're going to engulf and then digest invading microbes. Okay? Now it's important not to say things like they swallow or eat, because these are cells, they don't have a mouth, okay? They approach the invading microbe, they surround it and engulf it inside the phagocyte cell, and then they use like enzymes to break down and destroy the microbe. Our second type of white blood cell is a lymphocyte. So these names are quite tricky. You want to practice spelling them and writing them out, okay? They both end with cyte. Phago actually comes from the Greek to engulf, okay? So phagocyte engulfs. Lymphocyte. A lymphocyte does not engulf. Instead, it produces something called antibodies. Now, you might have heard of antibodies already, okay? We'll come a bit later on as to why. But basically, a lymphocyte produces these antibodies, okay? The antibodies attach to the invading microbe and they kill them, okay? Antibodies and lymphocytes are involved in immunity because they remember past infections and past disease, and that's why you can get immunity from getting a disease in the future. Okay, so there's your summary, phagocytes and lymphocytes. Things in stars are not what you'd want to write down in a test, but it's giving you a good memory aid. So phagocyte starts with a ph, so it sounds like food. So think about something eating, like Pac-Man, okay? But you're not going to use the word eat, you're not going to use the word bite or swallow. You're going to say that a phagocyte engulfs and destroys microbes, okay? So think Pac-Man for phagocytes. A lymphocyte has a Y at the start of it. Now, if you draw antibodies, you'll see these in the pictures coming up, they're always Y-shaped. So try and think about that Y as your reminder that, oh, this is the antibody making one, okay? If a phagocyte's like Pac-Man, a lymphocyte's like Spider-Man, okay? So like Spider-Man shoots out the webs, the lymphocyte shoots out these antibodies which kill the microbes. Now, that was a video of a phagocyte in action, but it's not working, so I'll post that in the classroom. Okay, so finally, what does immunity mean? Immunity means you can't get the disease again once you've already had it, okay? So it means you're now immune to something. It's the lymphocytes in your body which give you this immunity. So we're talking about antibodies. You can actually activate your immune system before you ever get the disease by using an injection called a vaccine. So here's inside the body. On the right, we've got our lymphocytes. I know that because you see these Y-shaped antibodies. On the left, we've got the invading microbes, okay? What happens is the lymphocyte starts to produce these antibodies, which are going to go and stick to the surface of the invading microbe and destroy it, okay? So that's how a lymphocyte works. How a vaccine works is it contains a weakened version or even a dead version of the microbes. But the body doesn't know this, so the body responds anyway, starts making lots of antibodies. But the antibodies aren't really used because it's already dead. But what that means is, once you've had the vaccination, you have suddenly thousands and thousands of these antibodies that would respond and kill that type of infection if you ever got it already in your blood. So for example, the flu virus changes every year. Okay, so you can't be immune to it. However, there is a flu shot. When you get the flu shot, it's a weakened version of that year's flu virus, which means your body starts producing the antibodies. So if you ever get that year's flu virus and you actually get it for real coming into you, for example, perhaps you breathe it in, your body's already got thousands of antibodies and it'll kill it so quickly, it won't really get a chance to cause the disease, so you won't really get unwell. And that's how vaccination programs work, okay? On the left here, we can see that this is a situation where no one is immunised, okay? For example, COVID-19 has spread so rapidly because there was no immunity to it in the human population because it had always been in animals before and hadn't really been in humans very much before, okay? If you have that situation and you have one or two of these little red guys here that become infected and then you move to the right, quickly it's going to spread through a population, okay? Because no one's immune, so it's going from person to person to person to person and quickly spreads. Okay, so it's a bad situation. What can we do about that? On the left here, this time we have a vaccination. So we immunise most of the population. So everyone in yellow has been immunised. The blue people, the 4 that are there on the left, they're not immunised, okay? And there's 2 infected people in red, okay? So the 2 infected people in red would have to have some kind of proximity to the blue ones to enable to get the infection to pass from person to person, okay? So on the right, really, it's contained. There's not much spread, okay? Because the chances of the blue and the red meeting are quite slim in a large population if most people are immunised. For example, if you think about there being something like 6 million people in Scotland, if you think that like 5.8 million are immune to something because of our vaccination programs, the chances of you coming into contact with somebody who A, isn't immune and B, has that infection is fairly low, okay? And we refer to that as herd immunity, which we'll come back to. Now, the problem is this kind of situation when we have a vaccine, but there's only what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellow immunised people on the left. Lots of folk are not immunised. This is the problem with this anti-vaxxer campaign. People start thinking, well, I've never even heard of this disease. This disease hasn't existed for now decades. It's been a long time since people have been dying of the measles or the mumps, okay? So folks stop getting the vaccine because they think they're safe. But what they're actually doing is not only endangering themselves, but everybody around about them. Because in our population, if we change from this situation, when everybody's yellow and immunised, to this situation, when more and more folk are not immunised because they're not getting the vaccination, then what happens, if somebody does get infected, again we get the situation when it's quickly spreading through the population and causing trouble. So, it's not enough to just have a vaccine. We need to have enough people in the population vaccinated, okay? And we call it herd immunity. So that's when enough people are protected by a vaccine or by immunity that the other people who are not immune are still protected because there's less chance into coming into contact with a diseased person, okay? And that's what herd immunity refers to.